There are no surprises in the 10-page press note issued by the National Statistical Office on the provisional estimates of annual national income for 2020-21. As expected, the GDP at constant prices recorded a negative growth of minus 7.3%. The first time India has recorded negative annual growth since 1979-80. Three numbers of GDP at constant prices will highlight the parlous state of the economy. In 2018-19, GDP was 140 lakh crore. In 2019-20, it was 145.69 lakh crore. And in 2020-21, it was 135.12 lakh crore. The increase in 2019-20 was modest at 4%, but the decline in 2020-21 was severe at minus 7.3%. The net result is that the GDP in 2020-21 is lower than the GDP of 2 years ago. That is, it is lower than the GDP of 2018-19. 2020-21 has been the darkest year of the economy in 4 decades. The performance in the 4 quarters of 2020-21 tells the story. The first 2 quarters witnessed a recession, minus 24.4% and minus 7.4%. The performance in the 3rd and 4th quarters did not herald a recovery. The estimated rates of 0.5% and 1.6% were due to a very low base of 3.3 and 3.0% in the corresponding quarters of the previous year. Besides, these rates come with a number of caveats. When the first wave of the pandemic appeared to subside last year, the finance minister and her chief economic advisor began to sell the story of a recovery. They saw what they called green shoots when no one else did. They predicted a V-shaped recovery. It was a false story, and we had expressed our strong reservations and warned there were no signs of a recovery. We had pointed out that what the economy needed was a strong dose of stimulus, including increased government expenditure, direct transfers of cash to the poor, and liberal distribution of free rations. Our pleas fell on deaf ears, and the result is a negative growth of minus 7.3%. What is most worrying is that the per capita GDP has fallen below rupees 1 lakh. It has fallen to rupees 99,694. In percentage terms, it is a decline of minus 8.2% over the previous year. It is lower than the level achieved in 2018-19 and maybe even lower than 2017-18. The deeply worrying conclusion is that most Indians are poorer than they were 2 years ago. Let me repeat that. Most Indians are poorer than they were 2 years ago. The press note of the NSO reveals that in respect of most economic indicators, they are worse than what they were 2 years ago. Examples are private consumption, gross fixed capital formation, exports, and imports. The current state of the economy is no doubt largely due to the impact of the pandemic, but it has been compounded by the ineptitude and incompetent economic management of the BJP-led NDA government. Good advice by distinguished economists and renowned institutions has been rebuffed. Worldwide experience has been ignored. Suggestions on fiscal expansion and cash transfers have been turned down. Hollow packages like Atmanirbhar have fallen flat. We are glad that the two leading chambers of commerce and industry, the CII and FICCI, have in the last few days echoed our views and pleaded for fiscal expansion, including cash transfers to the poor. The RBI's monthly review has flagged the demand shock and its consequences. The CMIE report on loss of jobs and growing unemployment is alarming. The research and survey reports of Aziz Premji University have concluded that 23 crore people have been pushed below the poverty line and into indebtedness.